Aries, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your small story reading. So here we are in the month of December. This is a small story. It's a more intimate, more specific, perhaps, glimpse into what may be going on for you. All right, so the December shift readings, the larger monthly shift readings, they are overall energy, and now we're hoping to hone in a bit on what may be going on for you this month, Aries, or at whatever time you are visiting this reading. So for these readings, I choose a book off the shelf that seems to be speaking to you. In this case, 3 books. My God, these are supposed to be small stories, Aries. They never are. Nice try. I want to start with this. First, the book of Job came out and wanted to speak to you. Okay, here's the book of Job, just so you can see what I'm working with here. Okay, the book of Job came through, and I'm not going to read this passage to you because, again, small stories, but essentially I will read these passages, we'll make some connections with it, and then we'll get to pulling cards for those of you who are new. The passage in Job was basically, in summary, the story of Job is that Job is this very devout, faithful servant of the Lord, and keeps being stricken with terrible things happening to him. Terrible things, and yet he remains faithful. He remains faithful the whole step of the way. And so the moment that I flipped to was this sort of confrontation point between him and speaking with someone else about, I have been faithful to God every step of the way, and yet here I am still in, I watch the way that justice does not prevail all over the world. I watch how, robbers are allowed to roam the streets and innocent people are killed and people are starving without food, and my own life, no matter how faithful I am, seems to be continuously screwed, basically. So that's sort of the energy that came through the Job reading for you, which is interesting. You may be identifying with that energy a bit. And then Cat's Cradle, Kurt Vonnegut wants to speak here. So a little bit of backstory for those of you who don't know. There is a fake religion, a made-up religion in this beautiful book, and that's what they mean when they talk about Bokanan. Okay. So here we go. This chapter starts by being called "Tutored by Bokanan." There's someone coming up here who is painting a mosaic, and that's what we're walking into. You, I take it, I said to the mosaicist, are Philip Castle, son of Julian Castle. That happiness is mine. Well, I'm here to see your father. Are you an aspirin salesman? No. Too bad, my father's low on aspirin. How about miracle drugs? Father enjoys pulling off a miracle now and then. I'm not a drug salesman, I'm a writer. What makes you think a writer isn't a drug salesman? I'll accept that. Guilty as charged. Father needs some kind of book to read to people who are dying or in terrible pain. I don't suppose you've written anything like that. Not yet. I think there'd be money in it. There's another valuable tip for you. Think there's something in that for you, Aries? I suppose I could overhaul the 23rd Psalm, switch it around a little so nobody would realize it wasn't original with me. Bokanan tried to overhaul it, he told me. Bokanan found out he couldn't change a word. You know him too? That happiness is mine. He was my tutor when I was a little boy. He gestured sentimentally at the mosaic. He was Mona's tutor too. Was he a good teacher? Mona and I can both read and write and do simple sums, said Castle, if that's what you mean. Next chapter, the happiness of being an American. H. Lowe Crosby came over to have another go at Castle, the pissant. What do you call yourself? Sneered Crosby. A beatnik or what? I call myself a Bokananist. That's against the law in this country, isn't it? I happen to have the happiness of being an American. I've been able to say I'm a Bokananist anytime I damn please, and so far nobody's bothered me at all. I believe in obeying laws of whatever country I happen to be in. You're not telling me the news. Crosby was livid. Screw you, Jack. Screw you, Jasper, said Castle mildly, and screw Mother's Day and Christmas too. Crosby marched across the lobby to the desk clerk and he said, I want to report that man over there, that pissant, that so-called artist. You got a nice little country here that's trying to attract the tourist trade, a new investment in industry. The way that man talked to me, I don't ever want to see San Lorenzo again. And any friend who asks me about San Lorenzo, I'll tell him to keep the hell away. You may be getting a nice picture on the wall over there, but by God, the pissant who's making it is the most insulting, discouraging son of a bitch I ever met in my life. The clerk looks sick. Sir, I'm listening, said Crosby, full of fire. Sir, he owns the hotel. Okay, and then I am going to read you the 23rd Psalm. But first, there's something coming through here, Aries, about you being this artist, this beatnik. You know, you've got your own religion, you beat to your own drum, and you're the owner of this hotel. You know, like you're both the beatnik artist, painting the mural on the wall that's being questioned by this, I'm just going to say capitalist because that seems to be what's fitting into this story. And yet, to everyone's surprise, you are also the owner of this hotel. So it's like you are painting the mural in your own thing, your own place that you have built. Okay, so there's something here about that. We start with feeling deserted and angry with God. Then we go to you being this beatnik artist, beating to your own drum, but canonist. And now I'm going to read you the 23rd Psalm, and then I swear we will pull cards. Okay. Some of you may know it. All right. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Okay, so we've got religion as this through line. We've got bookended on either side the plight of Job, who is continuing to have faith, but is quite frustrated and very angry with God and talking about all of the evils and ills of the world. And then on the other side, we've got Psalm 23. You know, we've got profound faith and profound trust and comfort, holding comfort in that faith walk with the higher power. And in the middle here is you, Aries, which I believe, you know, you are the book canonist. You are this artist. Okay. Okay, sweet Aries. Let's pull cards. We're pulling from the Wildwood Tarot today. 3 cards, please, for Aries to help illuminate this story. 3 cards for Aries, please. Okay, hold on. Hold on, baby. Okay. Okay. Aries, Aries, Aries. What is this? Let me show you what I got. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Three of Arrows, jealousy. The Swan, Queen of Vessels. And the Six of Vessels, reunion. So, jealousy and the Swan feel connected to me. So the Swan talks about saying goodbye to something. This Queen of Vessels, it actually speaks to me about grief and about loss. Having to leave something behind, having to say goodbye to something with grace. because swan, with grace, with elegance, with understanding, and yet truly, this swan is swimming away. There's a little bit of, and there's jealousy present here. I think this is a person you're dealing with, it feels to me, that you are letting go of, and they are swimming away, and they are sort of looking back. It's not that, it's not like they are leaving and never looking back. They are looking back, and I think they're looking back with a bit of jealousy, a bit of envy, a bit of like heartburn. Heartburn, heartbreak. This is the card of heartbreak in the tarot. Feeling a bit slighted maybe by you, or maybe this is you, pick whatever role seems to be working for you. Maybe this is you swimming away from something and looking back and feeling a bit of that like heart heat, a little heat in the heart about this situation, perhaps looking back and feeling jealous, or someone is looking back and feeling jealous of you. There's some sort of jealousy here, which is really quite interesting. And then we have the Six of Vessels, which is reunion. We have these two otters. Interesting that the otter and the swan are both water creatures. We are still in the vessels territory, but they are both water creatures, but very different species. Very different species. And you're coming through here as an otter, and you're letting go. It's like you're trying to have this love relationship with a swan. And the reality is it's just not quite working. It's just not quite working. There's a part of you that needs to reunite with like-mindedness. See this here. You need to reunite with kin. And that kin can be outside of you. That kin can be a part of yourself that feels more like home to you, feels more like perhaps energy from your past, but energy from your past that is like almost like family, that is very close to your heart. And this card, this reunion, seems to bring peace. This is Psalm 23. This is, He leadeth me beside the still waters. This is comfort. This is, the Lord will be with me until the end of my days. That's the feeling here in this beautiful, abundant trickle of water, this clearing that is coming out now through this sacred wood. Perhaps you are reuniting with someone from your past and someone else is jealous. That could be very easily read into this story here. I just saw 1331. 1331. Interesting. Yeah, there does seem to be a dynamic of 3 here. So, I want to get a fairy card before I leave you here. The way these small stories work is I'm going to continue to pull cards on this. We'll talk about this energy a little bit. You got a little passage, you got a little card action. We're going to give you a fairy. And then if this reading is resonating with you, click the link in the description box. Join me right over on Vimeo, where you can purchase this instantly to get into the longer, more dug in version of this reading. We're going to get clarity on what exactly is this jealousy, who's this Queen of Arrows, who's this swan, what is this swimming away or loss or grief and jealousy and heartburn, heart fire energy, and then what is the reunion. Let's get some deeper clarity here for you, Aries. Yeah. Interesting. I was drawn to look at the bottom of this wildwood before we pull a fairy. And it's the hawk, the Knight of Arrows or Swords. Okay. The hawk and there's something here about you pinpointing, you like flying up to get this higher view, to pinpoint what is right for you. Again, this has something to do with choosing what is more your speed. Even though it's like, I feel there's a lot of love here with this swan, but it's just causing too much of this kind of burn there's a burn here. Somebody feels burned, whether it's you or somebody else. Somebody feels burned, which is interesting because that's the Job feeling. Job felt burned. Like, I've been faithful. This is the swan. This is Job. This is bullshit. I've been faithful and I'm still being burned over and over and over. And it could have to do with jealousy or not, you know. We don't have to read too much into the words on the card. But there's a feeling, what I'm picking up on is the heart has been burned. I have been faithful, and here I have been faithful this entire time. I have stuck through this with you or whatever. And maybe this is literally about God, because there's so much of a religious presence in these readings. Maybe this is you angry with God. I have stuck through this with you, and yet here we are. Me burned again. Or again, this could be someone in your life. Burned again. But this is all leading you, Aries, towards something that's more right for you. Because it's like all through this, you know, again, Psalm 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because I know you're leading me beside the still waters. Okay. All right. I know that was multi-layered. Let's get a fairy. Oh, this is a fairy. It's funny. I associate this fairy with Aries. So I love that this is at the bottom of the deck for you. Lothus the Wild. That's some Aries energy, yeah? Ready to pounce. Okay. What's the fairy for Aries for this small story? Fairy guidance for Aries here with this small story reading. Fairy guidance. Yeah, there's some hard energy here, Aries. The Soul Shrinker. The Soul Shrinker talks about gossip, talks about just like rough energy. You know, it's kind of going along with this. Feeling like people are talking bad about you behind your back, maybe. Feeling like people have ill feelings or ill wishes towards you. Just feeling like terrible things keep happening to you, and it's kind of like looking for someone to blame. That's that Job energy. The Soul Shrinker. It's not good energy, and this fairy in particular asks you like how you can disengage from this. Soul Shrinker. How can you disengage from this very base kind of very human, you know, jealousy, heartburn, all of these difficult energies are very natural and very human in a lot of ways. But there's a need here to disengage and to leave that behind in favor of something more you, in favor of the cool, refreshing, still waters of reunion with either someone else or a part of yourself. Aries. Okay, my friend, we're going to take this into an extended. If you're into it, stick around. I'll put a little preview at the end of this so you can see if it's continuing to resonate. And if so, I'll see you on Vimeo for that. And if not, Aries, thank you for tuning in. This is a very interesting small story. I'm excited to see where this goes. All right, happy December, my friends. Take care. And the fox is calling you to follow your nose, follow your soul, follow your heart towards where it's really trying to lead you. And again, I felt this. This is the artist. This is the book canonist, you know, to go back to Cat's Cradle. And then here you are as the shaman making that magic. You are making that magic happen. Number one, solo, independent. I keep feeling this for Aries. I've been talking about it for months now. on the channel. You know, if you're new, go back and check the readings for October, November, December. All the Aries readings are like, it's time for you to go solo, to go on this solo journey and make your art, basically. And I think in order to do that, it's like you have to leave something behind or someone behind, and they're feeling quite burned. They're feeling a bit burned by that.